Hey there, it's me, Eddie. Welcome to the tutorial video for Escaping Extinction. By the end of this, you'll know all you need to know to save the dinosaurs from the meteoric extinction. Let me get set up. Step 1. Place the Oasis tile in the center of the play area. Step 2. Shuffle the 18 other terrain hex tiles and place them face down around the Oasis, like so. Step 3. Place the vines, food and wood and rocket part tokens in separate piles next to the board. This makes up the supply. Step 4. Place the lava flow and cave tokens next to the supply. Step 5. Shuffle the rocket docket deck and place it and the launch pad next to the board. Step 6. Shuffle the exploration deck and place it next to the supply. Step 7. Place the Meteor track in view of all players and place the Meteor deck next to it. The Meteor deck is shuffled in a special way. Remove the 3 earthquake cards and place them to the side. Shuffle the rest of the cards. Split these cards into 3 face-down piles, 2 piles of 4 and 1 pile of 5. Take the earthquake cards and shuffle one of them into each of the piles. Place the 3 piles on top of each other with the 5 card pile on top. The Meteor deck is now ready to play. Be careful not to shuffle it again. Place the dino cards in front of the players controlling them and place a health clip marking them at full health. Take the food tokens from the supply and fill up your dino's food sections 1 token per slot. Then take the corresponding dino token and place it on the Oasis tile. Once everyone is ready to play, place the Meteor token at the start of the track and reveal the first rocket docket item. The aim of the game is to work together and help Dr. Raptor build the rocket and escape the planet before the meteor reaches the surface. To do this, you and the other dinos will work together to explore the world and find the rocket parts from the rocket docket, as well as collecting wood pieces to hold the rocket together. Once all 5 pieces of the rocket and 8 pieces of wood have been brought to the launch pad, and all 4 dinos are back on the Oasis space, you win the game, as long as that happens before the meteor reaches the final space of the track. The 19 hexagonal tiles, which are the 18 terrain tiles plus the Oasis, represent the world. Every time you set up the tiles, they need to be set up in this particular shape, with the Oasis at the center and the terrain tiles forming 2 rings around them. At the start of the game, all of the terrain tiles are set face down around the Oasis, which is face up. To flip them over, dinos will have to travel to the tile and discover them to reveal what's on the other side. Whenever a terrain tile is revealed, flip it so it's face up. Then, if it has any resource icon on it, take one of those tokens from the supply and place it on the tile. This represents resources available in that area of the world that the dinos can collect when they explore. Once a resource token is taken from a tile, do not replace it. The only way the resource can get replaced is through an earthquake card, which we'll talk about later. The game takes place over a series of rounds, which start with each dino taking their turn, one after the other, and ends with drawing a meteor card. The player order remains the same throughout the game, so whoever goes first on the first round will always be the first dino each round. On their turn, dinos have 2 actions that they're going to spend to explore the world around them, gather resources, and most importantly, find those rocket parts. The main actions you can use on your turn are as follows: travel, explore, and resupply. There are other actions you can take as well, specified on separate cards, and those also take up an action. These actions are all explained on your reference card, but we'll start with the travel action. Spend 1 food from your card, taking it and placing it back into the supply. Pick up your dino mover and move it to an adjacent terrain tile. If it's face down, remember to flip it face up and reveal it. And if it has a resource icon on it, remember to add the token from the supply. You cannot make a move action if you don't have any food left on your card. So make sure you don't get trapped on a tile, or if you do, you have to find some food before you can make it off. The explore action is the main way you'll be gathering resources as you travel around the world. To take the explore action, look at the tile that you're standing on. If it has a resource token on it, you get to pick it up and add it to your satchel on your dino card. Then, you draw the top card from the exploration deck and read it aloud. Apply any effects that happen from the card, and then continue your turn. Terrain tiles without a resource icon can still be explored, but will only give you a card. The Oasis tile and the Volcano tile are the only ones that cannot be explored. The third main action is the resupply action. In a single action, the dino will refill their energy section from the supply of food, drop off any wood pieces, and if they're holding a rocket part, they can also drop that off at the launch pad. The resupply action can only be performed if your dino is on the Oasis. A reminder, that all takes just one resupply action. There are other specific actions on some cards, for example, retrieving a rocket part from a rocket docket card. Those are performed as described on the cards. Unless otherwise stated, dinos can do the same action multiple times on their turn, as long as they spend the actions to do it and any other payment required, for example, spending food to travel twice. Once the last dino has finished their turn, everyone together will draw a single Meteor card and follow its instructions. Once you've done so, place it face up next to the Meteor deck so everyone can see it. That's because some of the Meteor cards have ongoing effects that people might need to read. When doing so, cover up the last Meteor card that was placed to avoid confusion. The Meteor's movement down the track is controlled by the Meteor cards. There is no way for the players to affect the movement of the Meteor on the track, so they must race to finish the rocket before it reaches Earth. If the Meteor ever moves onto the last or past the last space, time is up. Better luck next time. Some of the cards can move the Meteor backwards on the track. However, it cannot be moved further backwards than the starting space. The 4 playable dinos are all unique, with their differences noted on their dino cards. Dino Portrait. This shows you what your dino looks like, so you remember which mover is yours. Energy section. Here is where you store your food tokens, remove them from here when you spend them, or add them back when you collect more food. You can't have more food than there are spaces in this section. The satchel is where you store vines or wood that you collect during your adventures. You cannot store food or rocket parts in the satchel. Remove them from here when you spend them or place them on the launch pad. If there is no more room in the satchel when you're collecting an item, you can choose to discard an item you have or just to discard the item you're collecting. Rocket part bag. Collected rocket parts are placed here next to the board, not in the satchel. Only one part can be held by each dino at each time. Health meter, used to keep track of your dino's health. Some cards or tiles can cause dinos to take damage. If they do, reduce the health meter on their card by the amount of damage they take. If a dino's health ever reaches 0, they are injured and their turn immediately ends. To heal, a dino on their turn can spend vines from their satchel to heal either themselves or another dino on that tile. For each vine that is spent, that dino increases their health by 1. Healing does not take an action, it only costs vines. Once a dino's health is increased above 0, they are no longer injured and can take actions as normal. A dino can heal themselves if they are injured by spending vines from their own satchel. However, it must be done on the turn after they get injured, because the moment you get injured, your turn ends. If a dino gets injured in the process of picking up a rocket part, they do still get the part, take it and place it next to their card before becoming injured and end their turn. Special ability. Each dino's unique action or ability is named here. I'll fully explain each of them now. Professor P. Terry. Special ability, draw another exploration card. Once per turn, when drawing an exploration card, during the explore action, you may choose to discard that card and draw another instead. Useful for when you draw a bad card, but be careful, you must follow the second one once you've drawn it. No going back to the first. Captain Rex. Special ability, extra energy. You have the largest energy section of all the dinos, meaning you can travel the furthest before needing to resupply at the Oasis. Very useful for scouting areas of the board and escaping the tar pit if needed. Sergeant Sarah, special action, heal teammates. You can spend 1 action on your turn to heal all dinos that are on the same tile as you for up to 3 health. That includes yourself. A much better way to heal than using just vines. If anyone needs help, then head Sarah's way. Lieutenant Longneck, special ability, resource dice roll. Double or nothing. When picking up a resource from a tile during an explore action, you can choose to roll the dice. Green, you gain 1 extra of whatever the resource was. If you roll red, you discard that resource instead of picking it up, getting nothing. The rocket docket cards represent Dr. Raptor's strange requests for parts he needs to build the rocket. The game starts with one card revealed. Leave it face up next to the deck. Rocket docket cards explain exactly how and where to collect the next piece of the rocket. When a dino does so on the right tile, doing the right actions, they pick up any of the pieces from the supply and place it next to their dino card. Each dino can only hold one part at a time. Once a rocket part has been collected by a dino, you can flip over the corresponding rocket docket card face down so everyone knows that that part has already been collected. When a dino that's holding a part of the rocket uses the resupply action on the Oasis, they take that rocket part and place it on the launch pad. Once a rocket part has been dropped off at the launch pad, that is when you can flip over the next rocket docket card. You don't do it when the part is picked up, you have to wait until it is placed on the launch pad. The new card will reveal where the next piece of the rocket can be found. There are more rocket docket cards than total pieces of the rocket, which means each time you play, there'll be a different thing to search for and different places to go for your rocket parts. At times, there may be more face-up cards than remaining rocket pieces to be found. All face-up cards are a viable way of finding a piece of the rocket, but once the last fifth piece of the rocket has been picked up by a dino, you can flip all of the rocket docket cards face down. There's no more parts to be collected, so get them back to the Oasis. Trading. Sometimes one dino has objects that another dino really needs. Luckily, transferring things is easy. When a dino is on the same tile as another, they can trade. They can even do it if one of the dinos is injured, but not if they are both injured. You can swap any number of items from one dino to the other without spending any actions. These can include food, wood, vines, a rocket part, or even held exploration cards. Throughout the game, players will encounter a type of Meteor card called the Earthquake. This card mixes up the terrain tiles and might mess up your plans. When an Earthquake is drawn, you flip over all face-up tiles apart from the Oasis and any tiles that have dinos standing on them. Any resource tokens that were on tiles that got flipped over get returned back to the supply. Then pick up all those tiles, reshuffle them and place them back down in the normal setup. You must again travel to these tiles to reveal important locations around the world. There are 3 Earthquake cards in the deck. 1 in the first 5 cards, 1 in the middle 4 cards, and 1 in the bottom 4 cards. Terrain tiles that have 1 or more dinos standing on them are unaffected by an earthquake. This is a good way to keep important locations locked in, but one thing to think about is that any resource icons on that tile will not be replenished. The Meteor moves backwards 1 space on the track when an Earthquake card is pulled, so whilst it might mess with your plans a little bit, it does give you some more breathing room and time to make that rocket. One of the areas you'll find while exploring is the tar pit tile. Travelling onto the tar pit tile has no special effect. However, travelling away is tricky due to its sucking dinos in. When a dino wants to travel off the tar pit tile, they must spend 2 food tokens instead of 1. If dinos are low on food and don't want to spend 2 tokens, they can attempt to push themselves and travel using only 1 food. However, when they do so, the player controlling them must roll the dice. If they roll a 3, then they are successful. Anything other than a 3 and the attempt has failed. The dino remains on the tar pit tile and the action and food spent are wasted. Another dangerous area you will find while exploring is the volcano tile. When a dino travels onto the volcano tile, including when the tile is revealed, the player controlling them must roll the dice, taking damage equal to the result. Traveling out of the volcano to another tile does not cause damage and uses 1 food like normal. When a dino travels onto the volcano tile, including when the tile is revealed, the player controlling them must roll the dice, taking damage equal to the result. Traveling out of the volcano tile does not cause damage and uses 1 food token as normal. One of the exploration cards instructs the player to place the lava flow token onto the terrain tile they are currently on. This makes the area dangerous to traverse. When a dino travels onto a tile that contains the lava flow token, they take 1 damage. Traveling out of the tile with the lava flow does not cause damage and uses 1 food as normal. During an earthquake, if the tile containing the lava flow is flipped over and shuffled, return the lava flow token to the supply. During an earthquake, if the tile containing a lava flow is flipped over and shuffled, return the lava flow token to the supply. One of the exploration cards instructs the player to place down the 2 secret cave tokens. These make faster travel across the world possible. One token is placed at the dino's current terrain tile, and the player controlling them then chooses another terrain tile to place the second token on. A secret cave token can be placed on a tile even if it is face down. A secret cave token cannot be placed on the oasis tile. When a dino is on a tile containing a secret cave token, and they take the travel action, they can choose to go through the secret cave. The dino moves directly to the terrain tile containing the other secret cave token and does not have to spend the normal food token needed to travel. If the tile moved to is face down, remove the secret cave token and flip the terrain tile face up as you would normally when moving to a face down tile. If a dino is on the tar pit tile and wants to use the secret cave as described above, they must spend just one food token for the travel. During an earthquake, if a tile containing the secret cave is flipped over and shuffled, do not return the token to the supply. Instead, temporarily remove the token while terrain tiles are being shuffled and place the token onto the face down tile in the same physical location as before. If an exploration card instructs you to place down the secret cave tokens and they are already placed, you can change their locations. This is a co-op game where you win and lose together. Make sure you work as a team to collect the parts and bring them back before time is up. So there you have it. Now you know the rules and how to play Escaping Extinction.